Hello again, and welcome to the PM Talk Show. This is Pat Marsh, your host. We are in the end, pretty much, of our election season, and we want to bring the candidates on who were elected and give them an opportunity to tell what their goals are for the next 4 years. And today, our first guest is Mrs. Sandra Bailey Simmons. She's District H in Tangipahoa Parish, and this is your how many terms?
Well, I came on in 2001 when my late husband Jake Bailey passed away, and I ran those 2 months in that July and August and October, and then I had to run again against the same opponent the next year in '02, and so I've been serving since 2001 of July.
Okay, well, we want to congratulate you on the victory, and it was a hard-fought battle, but the Lord saw fit, and you came forth as pure gold. So congratulations, and we look forward to 4 more years of success for you and in what we're into right now. Your goals, what are your goals for the next 4 years?
Well, my goals will begin with my campaign slogan, Standing in the Gap, and that comes out of Ezekiel 22:30, and the Lord showed me that as I prayed at the altar right at the very beginning of the election, and He said to me in my heart that that is what I've been, is standing in the gap for our children in this parish, and for those parents that are not able to speak up for themselves, for learning disabled students, for special ed students, for dyslexic students, for gifted, for all students, and that I will continue to stand in the gap for these children. Also, too, of course, my heart is always with the dyslexia programs because of such a large percentage, 15 to 20% of our students are dyslexic, whether they know it or not, and it's very much in my family, and that's how I got started in this election with that. But also, too, I have other goals, and of course, the number one goal for most board members is to come to a workable, fair solution in ending our desegregation case. And of course, that was used in my election that I did not want to end it. And of course, that would be against apple pie and motherhood. Of course, I want to end it, but only in a fair and equitable way for all students.
Right. It's amazing how things can get twisted and how all of what really is going on in this case is not really known to the public. But I want to publicly say I thank you for working with us and working with the kids who have dyslexia. I remember the young man from Hammond Junior High who was dyslexic, and you worked with him, I think, about a month, and he started to see how things were done, and he ended up graduating with honors from Hammond Junior High.
Lots of honors.
Right.
Now he's a successful student at Hammond High.
Right.
I'm proud of him.
Right. So it takes that village coming together to reach our kids, and certainly you are a part of that village, and we want to congratulate you on doing so. When we talk about the DeSeg case, I'm sure many know now that we have a new compliance officer. I've had an opportunity to speak with him, and I must say I'm very impressed with him. Do you think having a new compliance officer will kind of guide us into the direction of getting resolution to what it is the system has to do?
I talked to Mr. Hammonds today, one of our attorneys for the school board, and he has full faith and believing that this will hasten the solution to this desegregation order. He's a go-getter, he's a fighter, and he's also working hard on both sides to try to bring this to a workable solution. I do have a lot of faith in what's going to happen in the next few months.
Right, and I have to agree with you because I spoke with him on last evening, and just listening and sharing some of the things that he envisions as a compliance officer, and just knowing that the only order that's on the table right now is Order 876. But I think once it's shown in the action plan that Judge LaMelle has said, tell me what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, how long it's going to take, and what you can't do, why you can't do it. It sounds kind of simple to me. It really
does, but but that's the bottom line. The action plan, I talked to Mr. Hammonds today, is right. The Order 876, which is the main one that's on the table now, which we're not in favor of, hardly anybody is, of course, because we're not able to fulfill all the requirements. But the action plan would be, well, what are you going to do to fulfill a lot of those requirements? and demands. And so we're coming up with that plan, which should be ready pretty soon, to show the judge that we have been working towards a solution, both sides.
Right, right. Tell me something. Mr. Anderson and I talk a lot, and we talk about VOTEC programs in the high school, because 75% of the kids in this school system would not go to college. So just share, how do you feel about giving a child training to where when they graduate, if they so desire not to go to college, they can go to work in the workforce making a very good salary? How do you feel about that?
Industry-based certification, right. That is, I'm so glad you brought that up. That is so near and dear to my heart. Second to, or maybe right along with, the dyslexia program, is because, yes, a large percentage of our, at least 75% of our students are not going to go to college. And it's the requirements, or the entrance requirements for college, are just getting so tight and tough right now. And money, is tight to be able to even go to college, that we must have a very successful VOTEC program. And that is one of my main goals in the next 4 years, that we don't have it at just certain schools, but all schools, just like the ROTC program, because that trains students for the military, right. And where they can go there and get a degree, which is right. Just wonderful. And so I'd like to see that happen. But the VOTEC program is an absolute must, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Another program that we need services in, we really need it, is in kids who have dyslexia across the school system. Do you have any plans of trying to get something in place for dyslexic kids?
Well, yeah, I serve on the curriculum committee, and I hope that, I'm the chairman right now. I hope to be able to continue that in the next 4 years, and try to come up with some just some better plans, or some more workable plans for the dyslexic individual. And I'm very closely connected to Southeastern, the teacher ed department, because I retired from there in 2001, and I go there once or twice a year to put on a program with the professors there on understanding how it feels to be in the shoes of a dyslexic. And so I hope to bring that maybe to the board and put them through that little simulation, which I did when I first got on the board, so other board members can have more empathy for the dyslexic individual.
Yeah. What about doing a workshop with the teachers?
We used to have those constantly, and I was very much involved in that. We haven't had that in years. Mm-hmm. I want to reestablish that. That's so important. So many teachers are not aware of what the dyslexic individual looks like, or how can they accommodate and modify the curriculum to meet their needs.
Right. And not only that, a lot of the behaviors that go along with a disorder are deemed as bad behaviors, but it's really a result of the disorder that they have. Is that correct?
That's exactly right, because you're born with it, and sometimes you have acquired dyslexia from an injury, but most of the time, the majority of the time, you're born with that. It's a disorder, but it can be a gift. And there's a book called The Uncommon Gift, and it's the book of this a story of a young man that is dyslexic, and how God showed him how to turn that disorder around into a gift. And many of our famous people, even Einstein, are dyslexic.
Mm-hmm. I know, and you never know. And I keep going back to the young man that I saw firsthand, how he changed into a student who became an honor roll student in such a short time, because you were there to show him how to work with the disorder he had and how to make it work for him.
That's right. And this young man, had such a wonderful attitude that
Right.
he was so loved at Hammond Junior High. Right. It was really a haven for him, but he was a source of strength and a motivating force for all the other students there, right. as they watched him become successful, even with a disability.
Right, right. So what other programs would you like to see implemented within the next 4 years?
Well, I want to keep a close watch on our reading programs and make sure we're using the best program for all students, because, you know, we all know that reading is a key. Right. If you can't read, then you can't do math or anything right. else. And so we, as a curriculum as part of the curriculum program, I want to see that our reading programs are what we need in our system for our students. And with the VOTEC, with the dyslexia program, and then also too technology, always advancement in technology. And I see too now that with the Common Core, one of the requirements for testing is going to be that they don't have to take it on the computer now, because it's good for some, but for others it doesn't work
right.
well.
Right. It sounds like Common Core is going to be around for a little while.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of Common Core. I campaigned on that, but it was way before that I saw some of the problems, the kinks that we have in that. The first reason is it was not put together by educators. It came across the nation from governors and governor staffs that wanted us all to be on the same page across the country, fit in the same program, and everybody knows that you can't get square pegs in a round hole. No. And one size does not fit all. We all learn differently, and we may never be up with whatever other country, a state that we are striving to be up with, because we have different demographics. We have a high poverty in some areas, and we have to offset that. So it's not all about test scores to me.
Is it possible that some of the components of Common Core can be changed to fit our curriculum?
The needs. Well, you know, the school board doesn't have much to do with the standards. That came to us. We had to swallow it. But the curriculum we are involved with, and we do have to vote on what curriculums we use. And so that's something that we need to watch very, very closely, and especially in math, because the parents are complaining to me that what they learn at home is not. It doesn't add up to what's on the test. And so the scores in math for our students have dropped.
Mm-hmm. So what is the solution then?
Well, we need to find math programs, and we are in the process of finding that right now, that would better fit the needs of our students so that they can score better.
All right, well, we're going to a break right now, and is there any quick thing that you want to share before?
Well, one thing I want to do, and this is such a great opportunity, I want to thank my supporters and those that believed in me and those that saw that there was something savable in my tenure on the board, and I appreciate them, and of course I thank God most of all. To Him be the glory.
Well, we're going for a break and we'll be right back.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the PM Talk Show. This is Pat Marsh, your host, and we have veteran school board member Mrs. Sandra Simmons, who was just re-elected to be a member of the Tangipahoa Parish School Board. And during the first half of this program, we were talking about so many facets of education, and we want to get back to Common Core, because a lot of people are believing that with Common Core in the school systems, whatever came down is it can't be changed. But I don't totally agree with that, because I think that some things can be changed to fit what we need for our kids. How do you feel?
Well, of course, curriculum is where the school board can be involved. We have certain curriculums that we can use, that we select, and we have the curriculum supervisors that bring us the curriculums that they want to use for the reading of the math, and then the board has to look at it, analyze it, and the curriculum committee has to okay that, and then the full board does. And so we do have control of curriculum, and so we need to watch that closely. And it's not like, you know, it's just something in passing. This is a serious situation. Right. And I've had some serious complaints for people in my district, and to me, I just think from the get-go, we had some serious problems with the Common Core in the very beginning. And also, you know, I forgot to bring up earlier in our discussion that some of the problems, too, lie with the rereading, the summer readings. There were a lot of books on the list that parents weren't aware of, that had very questionable material in the books, and vulgar language and sexual scenes that described. And these parents and the students didn't know before they went to Books A Million to buy the books for the summer what was in them. So we went to Mr. Colway, we showed him some samples of those books, he took it to the curriculum supervisors, and they have met, and they have a plan they got to present to us in the next few weeks of how to put a disclaimer on this list and let the parents know many have been removed, and those that haven't been, that are classics, they will have a warning, and the parents can make another choice. Right. And thank God for that, because I wouldn't want my children or grandchildren involved in those readings.
I understand, and that needs to be done. It really does. So I commend you for taking a stand on that. And I remember the day at a policy committee meeting it came up, and it was everybody that was there that they really understood where you were coming from.
That's correct. I think that was curriculum meeting, but I brought the book and I had the pages marked. Thank God for the parent that brought me that questionable book, and all of us were in agreement. This is not acceptable.
No. When you look at the new districts whose lines have been redrawn, where does your boundary lines lie now?
Thank you for asking me that. You know, I have a huge district. It's very widespread. I represent part of Folsom, the south end of Laranger from Highway 40 south towards River Road, and then I represent Robert, everything that is north of the interstate. It's huge, 190, Highway 190, Covington Highway. I have Pleasant Ridge, Little Italy. I have a huge Ponchatoula area, all the east end there that is north of Highway 22. In fact, I have more constituents in Ponchatoula and Hammond than I do in Laranger. Even though I live in Laranger, it's a huge district, 9,000 and something voters, but a very widespread district. But we were able to cover, between my husband and I and my son and 2 little grandsons, the whole district. We didn't each go to every door, but we made it to every door between us.
Yeah, and you won.
And we won, praise God.
One of the things that I notice is that people just want to be told the truth.
They want the truth when they look into the eyes of the candidate. Mm-hmm. What they're looking for is sincerity. They're looking for, they want to see that there's integrity there in your face and in your expressions, mm-hmm. and to be transparent. Right. And transparency is a major issue with me, because I am so against executive sessions that close out the public and the press for being involved in decision making. And I am really going to stand on that stance in this tenure coming up in these next 4 years, that we could discuss so much of this of our decision making out front in public, and that is major, because we need to involve the people more. That's why we're in such a mess with the DSEG plan, to me, because they weren't involved from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. One of the things is certain, that whatever the public's money is spent on, they have a right to know. Now, it's understood that some things lawyers from both sides can't talk publicly because that's their strategy, but a lot of what goes on in the back room, as it's called, the people have a right to know, and they should know. If you want support, they should know.
Well, actually, it's about their children,
right,
and the teachers that we represent, and all the personnel in the system. And not only that, they're the ones that put us in office. They're the ones that can take us out of office. Right. And if we don't show them that we're standing up for them, for our district. Now, when you vote against something, you have to remember, even though we represent the whole system, those people that vote for you, those are the ones that should control, what you do, to a sense, because they're the ones that can take you out. And if you don't represent the people that vote you in and out, something's wrong.
Yeah, and I think people are beginning to see that more and more now across this country, and it's beginning to take hold here, that I trust you to put you in office as a policymaker for my child's future. And I want to make sure that my child is getting the best that they can get, because society is globalizing itself, whether we like it or not. It's already begun. It's been going on for a long time. It will continue. But what we need to do as John Q. Public, as the parents of kids, is to get with the board members, to get with the superintendent, and vice versa. And let's do this, because we don't want to become a third world country, nor do we want our children to grow up and not have adequate educations to where they can take care of themselves. Because
that's exactly
that
right.
day is upon us now.
A lot of people on the street think that this whole desegregation case is about mixing blacks and whites up in a classroom. But to me, it should be that we've already got that majority-minority rule, and that if they want to go to those paired schools, then we get them there. Yeah. But it's not just about that. It's about equal access, as well as the hiring procedures. And we've come a long ways and hiring more of the black community in our system in every sense of the word. You know that we have. Yeah. And we have a little ways to go. And repairing schools that needed repaired. We've done that. The public doesn't really realize how much we have done in this whole process of desegregation to make it work, and we're continuing to do so.
And I think that's a part of the action plan, because those things will have to be made known to Judge LaMelle, made known to the public, made known to plaintiffs' employees and the voice representatives for, in this case, to us, that this is what has been done, this is what we need to do, this is how we're going to do it, and this is the time frame that we're going to do it in, so that we can move forward with it. And again, I want to thank you for working with us, with everybody, to make sure that this is going to happen in a fair and equitable way, because that's where we are right now.
That's right. We want to turn something that most people thought was bad into good, and hopefully that's going to happen in the next few months ahead, and then we're really praying and hoping for a solution very, very soon.
Right. Well, one thing I remember that Judge LaMelle said to us when this case was reopened, and he was talking to the plaintiff side and the defendant school board side, and he said, both sides will have to come together and compromise. Neither side is going to get everything they want. But I can tell you, if you don't come together and compromise, then I'm going to do it, and you're not going to like what I do.
I know, and we don't want that to happen.
No.
We want to come together.
Right.
The coming together, though, to me, my personal opinion, shouldn't be just lawyers coming together.
No.
I think board members need to be involved. And also, too, people have criticized me for voting against the plan and thinking that I'm responsible for the plan not going through. Of course, that's ridiculous. But you have to realize, too, that everybody that was going to be moved just about happened to live in my district. Yeah. The Champ Cooper area that's going to move, and also to the Laranger district, and some things that are going to happen in Hammond coming to Laranger. I think we should have compromised there, and we tried to. And when Mr. Duncan brought up the revisions, and we had 3 of us voted for the revisions, which would have alleviated some of that. I could have voted for the plan. It didn't happen. We got voted down. We only had 3 that wanted the revisions. I was willing to compromise. It didn't happen.
One of the things that a lot of people don't know is that when you go into court, when you're in a desegregation case, and when you tell a federal judge, this is what we're going to do to satisfy a 50-year-old court order, he signs off on it, which is Order 876. He expects you to do that, because you said in good faith this is what you're going to do, and this is what happened. This is what actually happened. But now he's, give me a timetable. Tell me what you're going to do. And if that does not happen, then I'm going to set a court date for summary judgment, which at that point means, I think to me, that he's going to do what he said he was going to do. So it's time that we sit down and talk about what's important to us, and that's our most greatest asset, and that's our children, how we're going to do it. There can't be any components of segregation in it that would resegregate the schools. That was a problem too. We can't have that. But what we can have is people sitting down and coming together and say, this is for my children. And when you look at it, we are that village, and everybody's child is my child, and my child is your child, if we're going to prepare them. Do you have any closing comments?
Well, yeah, one of the things that, just separate from the desegregation suit, is this is a stance that I've always taken, and I, in the very beginning of my time on the board, is that to me, when you're an elected official, you should be more loyal and more committed to the people that you serve who elect you than to the body that you serve on. And that's a problem sometimes, not just at the school board level, but any level, that they stick together with each other regardless of what the public wants or the people that put them in office. Your loyalty should not be to the other board members. It should be to the community you represent. And also, too, I ran on, when you call, I will answer. Right. I keep my phone number out there, and when you call me, if I can't get it that moment, I will call you back. And I will listen, and I will do everything I can to be able to help you come to a solution for your child. I can't work miracles, but I can try with Almighty God's help.
Right. Well, we want to congratulate you again on your victorious win. We want to congratulate all of the candidates that were either elected for the first time or re-elected, and we wish the best to the 2 candidates in District A, and may the best man win is about all I can say right now. But when we look at what we need to do, what we're going to do, it certainly is a comfort to know that we have people like yourself on the board who have the best interest at heart, and that is what's best for the children. Not some children, but all children, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And it always goes back to the motive. And when you pray and ask God to direct you and lead you and give you the wisdom and the knowledge to be able to fulfill your duties on the board, you have to keep your heart pure. You have to guard your heart and guard your mind against egotism and things that would keep you from being the right person for that position that you hold.
Right, and we're going to keep all of the board members lifted up before God, that His will be done in their lives as well as the lives of the children, because we need that right about now.
And I think He's building up an army, and I feel that very much right now, and so we need to fight together for the rights of our children and our people in this parish.
Right. Well, this is Pat Marsh, your host. We want to thank you for joining us again on the PM Talk Show, and we will be inviting other board members to come on and talk about their visions for the next 4 years. We want you to know and continue to know that knowledge is powerful. It does matter. Thank you. God bless. Have a great week.